I hate harems. Now before you start moaning at me and throwing get some bitches jokes my way, let me explain. As you may or may not know, we review anime of all kinds on this channel, which means that we sort of know our shit when it comes to the intricacies on anime. Not really. However, the type I've not enjoyed in a while is harem for a very simple reason: its lack of depth. Now obviously I'm going to give you some examples to prove my point here, but if you disagree or maybe have your own take you'd like to share, then pop it down in the comments below. And while you're at it, press that subscribe button and you might get more of our very distinguished takes. If you're a distinguished gentleman or lady, cause who knows, maybe I should get Kuba to say these things as he has a good ratio because of his voice. So what is a harem? Well, in anime terms, it can be boiled down to the main protagonist, who is usually male, surrounded by 3 or more of the opposite sex that are probably interested in him. Now this definition isn't anything concrete, but for the sake of the video, we'll go with this. This means anime such as Highschool DxD, Smartphone, Misfit of the Demon Academy, etc. are harems. And so, here are my 2 points to why I think harems suck, in my opinion. The lack of individuality, and a poor excuse for story writing. These points are significant, and I'll explain why with a little comparison. But first, let me ask you, would you consider Konosuba a harem? Well, I ask this because the term is used very loosely in a lot of these shows. Many of the definitions vary depending on who you ask, unless you're going by the actual historical use of the word. But Konosuba at its very basics has a main character that has 3 female characters that follow him throughout the show. They may have some kind of attraction to him, but this isn't made very clear unless you're talking about someone like Aqua, who obviously doesn't. But either way, you could call it a harem if you wanted to. Also, no, I'm not saying that Megumin is attracted to Kazuma, for fuck's sake, just bear with me here. The difference between Konosuba and Arifureta, for example, is very large, especially when we look back on my 2 main points. Most of the female cast lack individuality in a sense, and even if you disagree, their writing is only worse. Ignoring the fact that all of them share the same attraction, Shea the bunny is a pervert who has no purpose but to stand in between Yue and Hajime, even though they're already a couple, and Tio the dragon is a pervert and a masochist. Yeah. Yes, I am aware that they both have their own backstories, but when you take a character that has potential and latch them to a main character in the way that they are, then they lose their sense of individuality and growth. The same applies to Yue in a sense, as I don't remember any kind of character progression to her when I watched it. And Kaori, well, she was a part of Hajime's group that got isekai'd, but decides to join them even after being denied by Hajime. Yue decides to let her join anyways, cause fuck it, why not? Konosuba, on the other hand, is very, very different. Aqua is a goddess that got isekai'd against her will and is pairing up with Kazuma to defeat the Demon Lord and to become a goddess again. She is a bit two-dimensional, I will admit, as her personality never changes and she's almost never useful. Darkness is a girl from a royal family that decides to become a knight even though she can't hit anything with her sword. She's also a masochist like Tio, but throughout the show we get to see more of Darkness's history, as well as a more lovable and shy personality that goes in stark contrast to her normal. I saved Megumin for last as I believe she has the most development, but I am aware that she has a whole movie and another series to back her up. But I'll ignore those just to prove my point. She's a girl from the Crimson Demon tribe that decides to go out into the world to prove that explosion magic is the best magic out there. She's very loud and bombastic at times. See what I did there? And she cares little about how useless her magic can be at times. But throughout the series, we see that she cares very much about the people around her, and with Kazuma's help, she's able to find her path within the party and realize her potential. It's a big difference to Arifureta, which in the first season shows no development to these characters other than the MC, which is a big shame when they have the potential to be unique. Now, if you don't agree with my comparison there, let's take a look at Highschool DxD. While it shares many similarities with Arifureta in its characters, it's still done better because of one big point: the reason of the show. Highschool DxD isn't interesting because of its mind-blowing story or its intricate character backstories, because the main focus since the very beginning was its clickbait attraction. I'm not saying that harem shows need to be ecchi to be good. If anything, I'd say otherwise, but unlike Arifureta, High School knows what it is, and so the lack of backstory and development is more apt when you're looking at naked titties bouncing around all the time in between fight scenes. Whereas in an isekai, you need these things for it to function properly. In the end, all the harem boils down to is an excuse for the characters to exist when they have no reason to be with the main character to begin with, which is just bad storytelling. So what does this all mean, and what's even the point of this video? Well, if you made it to this point, let me say that I'm not trying to shame anyone for liking these kinds of shows. I very much realize that we all enjoy different things when it comes to anime, and you don't have to justify liking them. I just wanted to give my own view on the genre and what I feel about it, but hey, if you enjoy these, then have fun. Anyways, I'll leave the video here. I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate and people telling me that I'm wrong, but I'd rather speak my mind about these things. And if you'd like to give your view on it, then please pop a comment down below and what you think about harems in general, or my opinion. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next review.